ways how you can get inspired.
The story of Russian devotees protest was very amazing. The struggle of Russian devotees. Your friend, you said that he was having a printing press in the mountains, and the video you showed, that was very inspiring.
Okay. Yes.
We discussed about the various excuses people give when we distribute book book to them.
Excuses and how to counter them, and when is it worth to just move on? Yes.
Prasadam is a secret weapon which opens the doors.
Prasadam is the secret weapon that opens doors and hearts. Places you can't go, prasadam can go. People you can't reach, prasadam can reach. When the devotees did so huge in the mines, in the factories, in Russia especially, they first went to the chief of the company and they gave cakes and nice prasadam. And they got permission somehow. I don't know how, but somehow they got permission. And then they also went to the accounts department, because getting permission is not enough. At the end, you need to get the money. You need to get paid. You know, they go into these mines where people work underground, and all people have to give is their employee number and their signature. And then at the end, they go to the accounts with lists of hundreds and hundreds of people whom they have given sets to. But then they have to get the money. And so same thing, give them cakes, give them gifts, and in this way people become very favorable. So as you're building your center, as you're building your circle of influence, keep giving. How many times should you give before you ask? 7 times. Okay, good formula. Give 7 times and then ask big. Okay? All right, what else you remember? Okay? Go with Krishna's plan. Krishna's plan is perfect. Sometimes we're too obsessed with our own ideas, but we have to be flexible to accept Krishna's plan. I was in Asunción, Paraguay, visiting my Vartma Pradarshaka guru, who had shown me his Bhagavad Gita. And we were invited to do, this is somehow too high range, like take out the high stuff. No, not the volume. Just the high, the high pitch. Just make the voice sound more normal, more human. So, that's better. So we were invited from the University of Asunción to hold a program. I was supposed to give a lecture at that university. Now, I was excited, and I prepared a little bit. And we went there armed with prasadam, books, with instruments, ready to do the thing. When we got there, there was no lecture hall, there was no organizer, there was nobody. For 40 minutes, we ran around the campus trying to look for the responsible person. And it was quite a strange scenario, like 5 people running around with things all across campus. You know those kind of scenarios, right? Then one lady walked by and she said, today, no lecture today. Today is project day. I said, what's project day? She said, students do projects and they show their project. So at the center of the university, there is a big plaza, some grass area, and they put tables and they show their project, what they have done. And I got frustrated. I just went to distribute books, because if nothing works, Hare Krishna, you can always go on Bhakti Vibhushan. If it's chaos in the temple, you can always go on Bhakti Vibhushan. If anything blows up, you can always go to distribute books. That always works, right? If you throw a cat out of the window, what happens? The cat lands on its feet, right? Because that always works. So you have to know how to stabilize. So I went out and I just distributed. I just stopped cars and people and said, we got to do something that makes sense, something sane. Then I went to that plaza and I realized this is not like your regular university. This is more what we call a trade school. People learn jobs. There's fishery, forestry, animal husbandry. They had a little psychology and nursing. That's about as elevated as it got. The rest was all like pretty basic stuff. We call this trade school. So they have project week. they showed whatever they did in that project week. Some did things with lemons, with avocados, with honey, with this, with that. They were all like well, strong built, more like Vaishya type of school. So she said, you just put a table there and do your thing. So we put our table there, we put books, prasadam, started chanting, we announced there's prasadam. All of a sudden, everybody came. And they all wanted what we had. And they bought books, they talked to the devotees. It was really nice. And I concluded that this was the best university lecture that I never gave. You have a plan. Krishna has a plan. Let's see who wins. Huh? I have a hunch. Huh? So, be willing to be flexible and to adjust your plan and your idea to Krishna's plan. And you will not get frustrated. You will see, hey, it can be a good day. Remember that first program that I went to when 0 people showed up? Remember that story? It was a good day. It was a great day, in fact. So what you may term as failure can turn into a big success if you have the right attitude, the right mindset. Otherwise, if you think, only 400 people showed up, and my friend did a program, 3,000 people showed up. So now what? Should I go and, commit suicide or, huh? So, okay. Something else you remember from yesterday? Okay, we're moving into last one. Yes. Mike.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Remember the person who inspires you and discuss about his qualities. Remember about his qualities. And by that way, you will be inspired to distribute books.
Yes. Always inspire the qualities of people who... Remember the qualities of people who inspire you. And in this way, you'll always be inspired. Okay, we need 2 volunteers here. We're going to have a little arm wrestling competition. You know arm wrestling? Okay, we need 2 strong guys. Who are the strongest guys? Here? And here. Okay? Okay, this got to be fast because we have a lot of ground to cover. 4 people are leaving this afternoon at 2 o'clock. Who is leaving? Who is leaving at 2 o'clock today? Okay. You got to start at 1 o'clock to write your exam because at 2 o'clock you're going to be going. Okay. All right. You know the rules? Rules, no kicking, no spitting, no funny stuff. Left arm goes behind the back. Right arm goes on the table. Okay? And, okay, so what we're going to do is for 30 seconds, and I bought prasadam here for the fruit of workers. We have fruits. Okay? So, we're going to chant Haribol, Haribol, and 30 seconds. Can you keep stopwatch? Wait. Not yet ready, okay? Tell us when you're ready. Are you ready? Ready, steady, go. Haribol, 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 Haribol. You have to continue. How many times you push the other person down, you get more fruits. Okay. But you should be aligned straight, Okay. Yeah, no, you have to be straight up. No funny stuff. Okay. Haribol, 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 Haribol. Done, ho gaya? How many seconds left? Huh? One objection? Our referee? Hand is? Slipping. Okay. Anyway, time is up. Okay, there is only winners, so Hare Krishna, thank you. Round of applause. Okay, the goal is to put, arm wrestling, how many times you can put the other person down in 30 seconds. Who else likes to volunteer? Okay. Similar height, okay. Okay. All right, ready? Okay, focus. Serious. The rule is you have 30 seconds, and the goal is to put the other person down as many times as possible. Okay? One hand behind the back, and no funny talking. Hey, hand behind the back. Otherwise disqualified. Okay, ready, steady, go. Haribol, 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 Haribol. Okay. And you get the bonus. Okay, catch. All right, thank you. What's the lesson from this? Unity, what else? Win-win. Hey, Damodar. My dear friend Damodar Bangsidari, he's just giving us his association and he's observing. So today is day number 4. We're doing about leadership and management, and we just had an arm wrestling game, and they're just commenting on our little game, what happened. So what did you see in the first scenario?
Means both were just sticking to their own opinions,
Both were working really hard to win,
Yeah.
struggling, fighting,
each other. Yeah.
and a lot of work and not so much result, right? Okay. What did you saw in the second scenario?
In the second scenario, it was win-win situation.
Okay.
So one time he, but they win many times. And
They went many times because they cooperated.
Yes.
They also communicated a little bit.
Yeah,
You saw there was some talk going on.
Yes. And their energy did not got wasted in fighting with each other.
Okay.
In the first one, the energy, the output
The
was
energy was wasted just in fighting, yeah. And it was loggerheads. You know loggerheads? Huh? And the others, they were actually cooperating, yes.
There are unlimited fruits, but when you unite, you can grab all the fruits.
You can get more
If you
fruits.
keep fighting, no, people will get very few fruits.
Okay. So the first two guys, they were really struggling hard, and the others, they just went back, forth, and they got more done. Okay, so Srila Prabhupada mentions, thank you for your audience participation. Srila Prabhupada says, it engladdens me to see our literature very widely distributed. This was the subject matter of my Guru Maharaj's satisfaction. He liked distributing books more than constructing temples. He personally advised me to print books if he got some money. So, by his mercy, we are printing books and constructing temples as well. Although in the beginning we had no such opportunity, still, I brought some books from India. And that was the foundation stone of our Krishna consciousness movement. So I want all our centers to give very much importance to the matter of book distribution. I know many of you are starting centers and different projects, and the first thing that comes to mind is always, let's build a temple. Have you heard this mantra? You have heard it, right? And you have seen what happens, right? Huh? The energy goes completely in a different direction. Everybody is like, money, 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 money. Did you bring the money? Do you bring the money? Do you have the money? Oh no, he's Brahmacharya, he's useless. I'm not going to talk to him. I'm going to talk to him. Did you bring the money? You start looking at who has and who doesn't have. You understand? You lose your Samadarshina. You lose your Kripa Shakti. And you start distinguishing, this is worth my time, this is a waste of time. And all of a sudden, you become judgmental. All of a sudden, the modes creep in, and you get implicated. Who makes more members? Who has more friends? Who has more followers? Who's got fancier outfit? Have you seen these things happen? Yes or yes? Thank you. This is a good group. I knew it, you know. They're good. No, you're observant. You have to be able to see what's going on. Otherwise, history tends to repeat itself. We have enough empty churches, empty temples, empty real estate, just sitting and doing nothing. What we want is vibrant communities. Christians would not build a church unless there are 200 families. Don't build a temple unless you have at least 200 families who are in your congregation. You can write that down. Okay? You can have a little hall, you can have a little assembly place, but don't build a temple and then get surprised that nobody's there who wants to do the deity worship and take care of the cows, you know. It's not enough to just go, yeah, some people will donate you cows, and you can tie them to the wall, to the back wall of the temple. Have you seen goshalas like that? Have you seen how sad, how unhappy those cows are? And then you can also get a few brahmacharis, and you also tie them to the back of the temple. And you have seen how unhappy they are, right? You have seen, right? Yes. And it's all just fun collection, fun collection, fun collection. And they feel depressed. They feel depressed. So if you have cows, you need to know how to treat them and how to take care of them. If you have brahmacharis, you need to know how to take care of them. Otherwise, it will be counterproductive. And in the name of doing service, you'll do disservice. Have you ever seen this happen? In the name of doing service, we can do disservice. So our job as leaders is that we have to have 4 things. A leader does 4 things. If you wonder what a leader does, if you wonder whether you are a leader, this gives you a good idea. 4 functions of a leader. What's the first thing? Huh? Vision. What's the second thing? Close team building. It means recruit. Team. Third, train them. Monitor and empower. Team. Okay, you've done it. Class dismissed. You can go. It's all good. We solved it all. What does vision mean? What is vision?
Exactly what he want to do. Why he's existing, first of all. Why he want to build the temple. Or take the vision from the super.
What you want to do and why you want to do it. Yes. Okay. Any other inputs on vision? Where are we now? Where do we want to go? How to get there? And how to inspire everybody else how to get there. That's the vision.
How the things will look in the future. What is it going to be like?
How far ahead do you have to plan? How far ahead do you have to see?
How far
A leader has to be at least 5
5
steps ahead, okay?
Yeah.
5 steps. What does that mean in management, in leadership terms? What does 5 steps mean? How far ahead do you have to think? How far do you have to anticipate? How far is your planning? Breakfast, lunch, and dinner? The next Rath Yatra or the next Jamashtami? Or how far ahead?
Whatever we do today, it has impact on next 7 generations.
On 7 generations.
Like
Yes.
Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, like he has like predicted about Adbhut Mandir, the TOVP. Srila Prabhupada envisioned, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu envisioned Prithvi te Ache Jatnagaradi Gram. So our vision should be not for ourselves, it should be for the future generations also.
That means
A long-term vision.
long-term vision, yes. You will never taste the fruits whose trees you're planting today. Is that okay? Is that okay? Is that okay? That sounds better. What, you want me to do all the work and these guys are going to eat fruits? No way, man. No way. If you want to get paid right now, go out and sell peanuts, chewing gums, and, cucumbers. You know those guys who are peeling cucumbers and slicing them and putting masala inside? They get paid all the time, but not much, just little. Huh? Why is Gandhi's face on every banknote in the country? Because they don't have any other people they can put on banknotes? Or what is the reason? Why is his face on banknotes? Any idea? I know you don't have money, you don't deal with money, you're brahmacharis. But just, we're talking. Why is his face, Gandhi's face, on every banknote on the country? Because he sacrificed for the people of the country. He was tough with himself, and he was considerate and kind with others. That's what a leader does. You're tough with yourself, and you're kind and compassionate with others. How to do that? You delegate authority, but you retain responsibility. You can write that down. Delegate authority, retain responsibility. If anything goes wrong, it's your fault. If anything goes right, it's the team's glory. It's the team's success. Are you okay with that? Yes. Then you're a leader. If you're not okay with that, you're not a leader. It's as simple as that. What's the difference between leadership and management? Many people confuse these things. Like many of you are in what we call mid-level management, You've done this thing for 5, 10, or 12 years, and now you have some level of responsibility. It's called management. What's the difference between management and leadership? Who can give a clear understanding between the two?
Leader plans for right things to happen for the future. Manager does the things right, whatever is set.
Okay.
Set for.
Doing things right is management, and doing the right things is leadership. Leadership, again, means vision. Management means execution. Mostly vision is not that much part of the portfolio, okay? Now, they are not mutually exclusive. They can be integrated, but you will see that they have quite some distinctions between them. Some other comments on this? Yes.
Leader looks for effectiveness, but a manager looks for efficiency.
Yes. Managers are always looking for efficiency. Where can we tighten the screws? Have you noticed? Cut expense, tighten the screws, optimize our operation. But oftentimes they're not really asking the hard questions. What are the hard questions? What are some of the hard questions that the leader has to ask? What we're doing, why we're doing, are we doing the right thing? Are we actually doing the right thing? Are we following our core competency? I mean, you're young, you probably haven't heard of Pan Am, but you heard of Nokia? Do you know that Nokia was the #1 mobile phone company in the world? Yes. Now they only have these 1,500 rupee throwaway phones. Have you noticed? The ones you use as a hammer or, you throw them around, Now Nokia was the market leader. Do you know that every single cell tower in the world runs on Nokia technology? They're still there on the cell towers, but in the mobile sets, they're gone. Why are they gone?
Because they have never planned for the future.
They didn't plan for the future. They thought we have the monopoly. They thought we're the guys. We own this. It's us. We've been doing this. And all of a sudden, boom, Apple. Boom, Android. Boom, the Chinese guys. And they were gone. Swissair. You heard of Swissair? One of the world's premier airlines. #1 awards. They overextended. They got into hotel business. They bought up real estate. They bought up small airlines. They wanted to build a big, huge empire. They could not pay the credits. The bank stepped in. Planes got grounded. Company went bust. They went bankrupt. Government had to step in, bail them out. After about 18 months, they went bankrupt again. And Lufthansa bought them for $1. For $1, they bought the brand Swissair, with the stipulation that all the employees have to stay, the brand has to be maintained, everything goes on. For the customer, nothing changes. But Swissair now Swiss Airlines, is owned by Lufthansa Group. Why? What happened? Unrealistic expansion, the wrong type of goals, no clear vision, overextension, taking on too many projects, too many debts. Does it sound familiar? Has this happened to us? Has it cost us? Yes. And even if you can somehow manage to get your way out of the financial and political and other types of difficulties, if you lose the trust of your team, you lose your self-respect. You have lost the game. You understand? You may be able to pull it off, because you have some industrialists, you have few disciples, few chelas, they throw a few crores, and they say, okay, it's fine. Huh? But everybody knows, because people are not stupid. People are watching. So don't do this in your project. Build things organically, build them in a healthy way by building your congregation, and you will notice you have many, many talented people in your congregation who are working in the real world, who have real jobs, and they're good. They're good at finance, they're good at property management, they're good at project management. Use their talents. Now, what does a leader have to do? This is what the leader has to do. You don't have to do everything, but this is your job description, okay? If you want to be a leader, this is what you do. And this is an ongoing project. This is not something that happens once. Yeah, I worked on vision, like 20 years ago. This is an ongoing project. Where's the vision coming from? It gets revealed in your dream, or you have visions, or
Acharyas, Prabhupada, we have.
Prabhupada is giving us, our Acharyas, our Guru Parampara, they have given a very clear vision of what it is that we're supposed to be doing, right? They've given us the vision. Now, how that vision translates into mission in your particular scenario, that requires your team to get together and to discuss, okay, what is our situation? What are our possibilities? How much can we do? Huh? Okay. Now, as I told you on the first day, we took 3 courses and we merged them into one. So today you get a little bit of flavor of the leadership course. So some of this stuff goes pretty fast. You have notes on this in your student handbooks that you're not going to look at right now, but you look at them later, because there's a whole section after the graduate course. It's all about the leadership stuff. And all these things will be fleshed out. They will be explained in detail. Okay, so that's the bonus gift, free gift for you, that you can just look through on the train when you go back and just wrap your mind around it. Okay, any questions so far? Questions, topics for discussion, anything that you think is relevant? Okay, vision, clear, it comes from the Acharyas. Recruit your team. Now, who do you need? What kind of people are you looking for? Have you seen temples who just wanted to recruit brahmacharis? Have you seen temples that just wanted to recruit brahmacharis? Okay, are they the ones who are the most successful? Why not? What's your brahmachari to others ratio in your temples? One brahmachari ratio to
3,000.
to 3,000, yeah, or to 100, right? Yes, we need that 1%, but we also need the 99. Otherwise, you have a leader, you have a general, but you don't have an army. You ever seen generals without armies? These big guys, but there's nobody there to do what they want them to do. So, yes, we want lakhs of brahmacharis, but we want thousands of crores of congregation, because there has to be a healthy balance. There has to be a healthy ratio in the social body. Sometimes temples, they have this idea, we're just going to build a monastery. Have you heard this? We're just going to build big walls, with cameras and barbed wire fence, and any Mataji that comes close to it, some alarm goes off, right? And we have levels of defense, nobody can get in. Yeah, it sounds funny, right? But you know how many temples I've seen who operated under that paradigm? They're not flourishing. They're not going anywhere. They're just waiting to die. Basically, that's it. That's their mantra, just waiting to die. If you want a vibrant community, everybody should be welcome. Everybody should feel that I want to be here. This is my place. We own this. Proprietorship turns sand into gold. You can write that down. If it's the temple's car, how often do temple car breaks? How often do they break? All the time, right? How often does your car break? Not much. Rarely. Why? Because it's my car and I take care of it. So, proprietorship turns sand into gold. Normally it's normal sand, but if it's your sand, this is my garden here. I take care of this. Make your congregation understand that they own this. This is their project. They're not here as spectators. They're not here as customers. They are team players. Now, what you saw, this little team building exercise, we want to involve everybody so they get this mood of we're part of this team. We're part of this Sankirtan mission. Who here is a Sankirtan devotee? Who here is a Sankirtan devotee? You know, when you sit in the exit row in the airplane, you have to give a verbal yes. You can't just smile, otherwise. Okay, all of you, yes. That sounds better than on the first day. On the first day, maybe 3 guys said, I'm a Sankirtan devotee, right? Remember? And everybody else was a manager or a temple president or, a this or a that. We're all Sankirtan devotees. We're all on the same team. I don't care who your gurus are, because I love and respect them all equally. We're not here to make more chelas for our Gurudev. Has this been a problem in India? Has this been a problem in India? Okay, how do we solve this problem? By reading and following the books that we distribute. Because if people actually read these books and they understand Guru Parampara, they understand Guru Tattva, and they realize that you have cheated me, you have manipulated me, you have pushed me in a certain way, some of them will get disappointed, some of them will get angry, some of them will walk away, some of them will make a lot of noise. But what's even worse is that we're doing the wrong thing. It's actually adharmic. So we should connect people to Prabhupada. We should connect people to Prabhupada's teachings, and then whoever they feel inspired by, that's where they should take, wherever they get their juice, wherever they get their shiksha, that's where they should. You cannot legislate faith. You can write that down. You can't legislate faith. You know legislation, making laws? This is our zone. Everybody has to take initiation from our zonal acharya. Have you heard this mantra? Yeah, that's a mantra from the 80s, That's from the pre-dinosaur age, from the prehistoric age. And now is what? Today is what? 2023, right? Yeah. So don't use this archaic, this kind of language. Now I know they have abolished the zonal acharya system, but the ghost of zonal acharya is still haunting us. And it's especially causing havoc in India. This is our zone. Nobody can come here. We have a rule in this group. Anybody who preaches, anybody who distributes books and does it right, they can go wherever they want. Because Brahmins are self-governed, which means if you're a Brahmin, nobody can prevent you from doing your thing, which is spreading Sanatana Dharma. And as a Brahmin, that you will ask permission, you will be cooperative, you will follow the law. That is understood amongst Brahmins, right? So, back in the day, even when we had the zonal acharya system, we had a lot of exchange, and there was a lot of sharing going on. But still, there were certain boundaries. Now, we can talk more about this. I don't want to go off on a tangent here. but I'm just noticed that a lot of the obstacles are self-created. A lot of the problems are self-imposed. I was in Udupi because after 25 years of Russia and 3 years of China, my system was not working so well, so I needed a little bit of cleanse. And I went to a government hospital there and got my diet and my massage. And then I missed the bus, so I just stopped some cars to get where I needed to go. And the Jeep stopped. And there was two well-dressed gentlemen in the back, and they were happy to take a white guy who was wearing dhoti and kurta into the Jeep. Turns out it was the chief of police of Udupi and the chief of police of Manipal. And we had a nice chat. We had a nice discussion. And the guy said, you know, we like you, ISKCON. We like you guys. You're doing good work. But something we don't understand. Why is there 3 ISKCON groups in Udupi? Why is there 3 different ISKCON groups in Udupi? And they're not working together. They said, I'm Manipal, he's Udupi, chief of police. We're bros, you know, like we work together. We're on the same team. But you guys, we haven't figured that out. You're all doing good work, but you're not working together. People are not stupid out there. You know, they're not stupid. I said, you know, give us a little time. We're working on it, you know. Just give us a little time, you know. We get there eventually. Hopefully with this batch, it's going to be better, okay? As I said a few days ago, you try to reach a Diksha Guru, you try to reach your GBC, good luck, you know. Good luck. It's easier to have darshan from Vyasadev in Vyasa Gufa. Yeah. It's easier. Yeah. Because he's there. He's available. So, we count on you that you're actually the change that you want to see in the world. I may not see it because I've been running for 40 years. I don't know how long I'll still run. So that's why I do this thing, because I want to see change. Because why? Because Prabhupada wanted it, and because people deserve it. We can't afford to screw this up just because we're insecure, just because we're territorial, just because we don't understand what it is that we're supposed to be doing. Now I'm talking a little direct to you, like in plain German, because I understand that you understand some of these issues, and you see some of these issues. So please, learn the art of teamwork, learn the art of cooperation, and you will see how it's a different dialogue. People will actually be part of the team. And this whole thing of like, are you part of my team, or am I part of his team, or my Gurudev has the other team, and no, now we have to go there and do this project. There is only one team. It's the Sankirtan team of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And who is in charge? She's in charge. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Brindavaneshwari Brishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamamni Hari Priye. That's the only winning team. If you want to be a winner, you got to sign up with that team. All the other teams, Shrama Eva Hi Kevalam. You may sell a few self-help books, you may have a few chelas, you may build a few things, but it's not going to go anywhere. If you want to be sustainable, you have to join the Sankirtan team of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which is under Srimati Radharani. Any questions, comments, objections, elaborations? Yes.
Why this happen in ISKCON, that there are different groups? If you think
It's human nature. It's just human nature that people have this sense of protection of, you know, in the name of doing a good thing, I build walls and I think I can protect my project or my interests. But then we become prisoners of our own security system, of our own defense mechanism. Insecurity. And again, Brahmins and Kshatriyas, we have to have a clear understanding of which role we are playing. You remember Mahabharata? When the Brahmins started taking on the roles of Kshatriyas, it got messy. They got compromised. And the other way around also. So we have to know who we are and what our role is. Yes? One in the back and then in the front.
Prabhuji, very important principle you just highlighted. So what were some of the incidents or some of the great losses you saw because of which you feel it so much? You seem to feel it so much. You have been speaking every day about, in one or two sentences, somewhere it comes out from you. So it's something is there, definitely.
Yeah, because I'm a trainer and I'm an analyst. I've been around the world more than 20 times. So I see what works and what doesn't work. I know where the obstacles are. I can identify them. And I see that India has the biggest potential from any country in the world. I mean, that's obvious, right?
It's obvious.
But right now, we're not even scratching the surface because we haven't really figured out our team dynamics. We haven't really figured out our gameplay. It's just like whether it be cricket or it be soccer or whatever sports you're playing, there has to be a clear game plan. Otherwise, you don't really succeed. You don't really score. Why is good the enemy of great? Can somebody explain this? Damodar?
I think it's a Jim Collins book. We get into a complacency state where, and I agree with you, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Last 30 minutes, I think I'm having the best, thing going in my mind. Thank you so much. I'm really, really grateful for you. I think Jim Collins mentioned that, an organization which goes and expands for say 100 years, etc. The good companies which do not become great, the only enemy is themselves because they felt they have got it. And I see in our Indian brothers here sitting here, I think there's so much when I compare from Bay Area, like in Prabhupada Aarti, I see 300 brahmacharis dancing before and after Prabhupada. And in North America, I don't see even 2. In the parikrama, we don't even do parikrama for, take Prabhupada along, correct? So there's so much here, and there can be a lot of great which can happen. But if we get into a compromise with we are doing good with 5 things, 10 things, 15 things, the greatness vision may get lost from what, why there can be Adbhut temple only at one place. There can be Adbhut temple in every town, city, village, everywhere. Sorry, Prabhu, if I would have gone tangent, but...
No, all good. Perfect. Thank you so much. Damodar is my old friend, so... you asked why am I feeling so strongly about this. You see, I'm from the early 80s, so I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. I have seen many people who were smarter, who ran faster, and who jumped higher than all of you put together. Imagine? They're pretty exceptional people. But they're not here today. Why are they not here today? Mostly because they were not team players. They were solo artists. And they could only play if they were in charge. They could only play if they were the boss. They can only start at the top level. Either I'm it or I'm out. And you can't be the boss every day of the week. Sometimes you have to be the servant. Sometimes you have to be the servant of the servant. Can you do that? Ooh, that's tough. That's tough. So then when you can't be the boss, you say, hey, I'm out. So they put themselves out. They put themselves out. And Maya also helped because Maya is relentless. The modes are relentless. The more you rise, the stronger the winds blow. When you get up in altitude, you've been up on the mountain, the winds blow strong. I was up on the mountain in Reykjavik when we went to visit that hot spring. We almost got blown off the mountain. We got around the curb and boom, wow. So as you rise in altitude, the winds get stronger. So be aware of that. Not just the temptations, but the pressure and the attacks from Maya. So if we don't have a strong Sangha, Sangha means peers. And a peer is anybody who can challenge you. Do you have people who can challenge you? Do you have people who can challenge you? Okay, make a list of your peer group. Who are your friends, your mentors, your guides, and your loyal opposition. You know what the loyal opposition is? There are people who are in the same field, but they don't like the way how you eat, the way how you talk, the way how you dress. But they're in the same trade. You can learn the most from them. If you don't have anybody who can challenge you, you can also get married. You will have somebody who will challenge you every day of the week. But that's what you need in order to grow. But if you have a peer sangha, you don't need to get married because you have people who will challenge you every day of the week. Why did Bharat Maharaj fall down? He was on Baba. Where is that? Anartha Nivriti? Nishta? No. That's pretty good, right? That's like way up there. Just the next short of Prema. Bhava. He was Bharat Maharaj. He had given up everything. And all of a sudden, oh, I have to take care of this little deer. Huh? And there was nobody there to tell him, hey, Bharat, what's up with the deer, dude? Cut it out, man. Let it go, you know. Nature takes care of its own, you know. You do your bhajan. Huh? I have a friend, he's been a book distributor, a preacher, pujari, he's a solid, good devotee. And he found a bird that had to be rescued, otherwise the bird would die. And now he can't go anywhere, he can't go to India, he can't leave home because he's got a bird. And I'm like, hello? Hello? Anybody home here? What happened? No peer association there. Nobody there to observe. Huh? Yes, it's not easy to be challenged. It's not easy to be criticized. But we need that. Do you know that a raw diamond looks like an ordinary rock? How do you cut a diamond? Are you from Jaipur? Are you? No? No Rajasthani? You need a diamond to cut a diamond because they're so hard. So you cut a diamond with a diamond. That's what we do here. We take the top, we put them together in close proximity, and then through friction, you get refined. You get all these beautiful facets. Koinor, diamond. Huh? That's what happens in Sangha. That's why we need to create this Sangha. Huh? That all your congregation, they have to be this Sangha group where they refine themselves. So that's why I feel so strongly about, because at some point people get victimized, they get captivated, they get sidetracked, and if there's no one there to help them, to bring them back, then they're gone. And when a tall man falls, the earth shakes. And there's a lot of dust, and there's a lot of mess for a long time to come. We're still feeling it. Huh? And history repeats itself. Huh? So I'd like you to just reflect on these issues, not get paranoid, but just reflect on these issues and be aware of the possible scenarios. So you don't have to go through the same things in your own life and in your own zone and in your own projects. The biggest obstacles, the biggest enemies of ISKCON are the ones that we created ourselves. We've made those enemies by not being aware of team dynamics. And it has a lot to do with being a team player. So as project leaders, do yourself a favor. And, you know, everybody talks about love and trust. Have you heard love and trust? Yeah? You heard that one, right? Love and trust. Right? Love and trust. That's everybody, that's Mahavakya, right? That sounds very nice. But people don't realize that what comes first is open communication. Unless you have open communication, you won't have cooperation. And without cooperation, you're not going to get to love and trust. So as leaders, you have to have open communication. As I've mentioned, not just a suggestion box near the latrine that gets, emptied once a month and you throw it into the garbage. But you have to take on the feedback, the input of your team. Why would you have to take the feedback, the input of your team? If you're a leader and you have the vision, don't you just tell them how it is and you give them orders? Why not? If you say no, why not? You need a mic. Otherwise, no points.
Actually, though we have vision, that needs to be actually felt. The same vision need to be felt that importance by all the team members, and they should own that vision also. When they own the vision, everybody will play their part.
Owning means that you have to allow them to participate in the vision, in the creation of the vision. You have to allow them to contribute so they feel a part of ownership. Otherwise, okay, I'll smile, I'm here, I'll be there, but the heart is not really there. But if you allow them to give their input, then their heart is in it. Okay? Some other point? Yes.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for very kind of deep explanations about teamwork and how leaders should be cooperating with each other. But what I felt was one thing which generally happens is when outside companies they grow, there is one centralized system, and our system is decentralized. So in that situation, every place in India also, now we are all centers leaders here, and we are very happy to and fortunate to learn from you the various concepts of the whole thing. But how do we create a synergy in such a way that there is like Prithu Maharaj also has divided the whole continent. So there is a limit and setting the boundaries required for all those things.
Absolutely.
And with those things, with our system, so now Madhu Panditji's system is centralized system, Ratvik system. That is, he is the only one person who is managing the whole thing from their own system. But our thing is all decentralized system. And in that situation, how do we apply all these principles? Because there are boundaries, there are situations where there are different zones are there.
Yes.
Although we have removed the zonal achara concept.
No, I understand. Thank you. So, when Prabhupada was in Rishikesh, Mr. Bajaj and a few friends came to see him. You know that story? You heard of Bajaj? Bajaj Industry? You've taken a few rickshaws, right? And saw a few motorbikes. So Mr. Bajaj came to see Prabhupada, and he said, we want to have a word with you, and everybody else should leave the room. Bhakti Charu Maharaj, he pressed the record button, and he walked out. So they have it recorded. They asked Prabhupada, who will be his successor? Prabhupada said, whoever follows my instructions will be my successor. Pretty clear point, right? Yes, it's easier to have a personality cult. You heard of Sai Baba, the guy with the fuzzy hair? He built a big place. They have a whole city down south. Uttapati. Now he's gone. That city is on less than 10% capacity. 90% empty, vacant, ghost town. Why? Because the show is over. The big guy left. Same thing will happen to your project if it's a personality cult. So, Prabhupada could have called it the Prabhupada movement. No, he called it the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. He took himself out of the center. It was not about, because he saw what happened to Gaudiya Math. You have to study history in order to see what happens. Gaudiya Math scattered, broke apart, tragic. They're still in court. They're still fighting. How many years has it been? A long time. A long time. So, don't think the same thing cannot happen to us. So, we have to do things in the way that our acharyas tell us to do things. We can't just come up with another model out of convenience sake. Now, Prabhupada wanted certain things to be centralized, like book printing, and other things to be decentralized, like temple management. He said there should be a president, a treasurer, and a secretary, and these three people, they can administrate locally. Not that you're dependent and you beg from central, give us money, and we'll just spend and squander and, babugiri and all that stuff. So there has to be, babugiri? Huh? You have seen babugiri, right? Yeah. There has to be personal initiative. There has to be personal ownership. At the same time, there has to be a bigger picture. There has to be a game plan. So these two things are not mutually exclusive, like Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva, like central and individual. There's harmony, there's balance. It's there. It's there. But we have to actually study our Siddhanta, our theology. You have a follow-up? Because you're holding the mic close.
There was a question that how, because this is a system which is set by Srila Prabhupada only,
Yes.
of decentralized system. And amongst all of us here, we are assembled here now. So what principles you have taught us in this system, how do we apply those things?
Yes,
That's a
that's
question.
as you're doing right now. That means we have centralized leadership education now for India, iLeads. We get the best people, the All India All-Star team into one room, and you get all the math guys, all the math teachers, they come and they get their 5 minutes to jump around and yell at you. And then you have to go back to your place and apply it. And while you're here, you make friends and you develop allegiances and you build a peer group amongst leaders where you can get help and advice and input from people on your level, which is really important. That's why people go to meetings, to education, to trade events, just to find their peer group, the people who are on their level. What happens on the stage is not so important, because most business happens anyway, not in the boardroom, but on the golf course or, somewhere when you walk. So, similar thing. I had read all the books more than a dozen times. But I went and I took Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav, Bhakti Vedanta. Every winter I sat one semester in Mayapur. And after 10 years I got my Bhakti Vedanta. For me, the classroom dynamics, the teacher-student dynamics, the student-student dynamic, as an educator, that was more interesting and more important to me than writing my essay and learning my shloka. And, that stuff, that's easy. The other things, the soft skills, that's the important thing. So, different people come for different things. So then, you will see also how you're not alone. You're not the only one who is struggling. You're not the only one who has issues and, obstacles and challenges. And you have friends. You have friends who can help you. That's what we're here for. When I went to open a center in San Francisco, I talked with my GBC and with 2 other center leaders, and they said, we'll be there, we'll help you. And I said, guys, what do you mean? You're going to pay my rent? You're going to hold my hand? What are you going to do for me? Now, I know they were well-meaning, but you have to be real. How much to expect and what is unrealistic. Now, this brings us to the next topic. You saw competition here, right? You saw. Is competition a good thing or a bad thing? Both, yes. When is it a good thing? What does healthy mean? Win-win. There's only winners in bhakti, right? When it is an unhealthy thing, I win, you lose, because win-lose turns into lose-lose. How does win-lose turn into lose-lose?
Like we saw in the case of the arm wrestling, the person who won, he could only get 2 fruits, the best. On the other hand, had he collaborated for a win-win, he could have got more. So he's also a loser because he lost an opportunity to get more.
Yes. And if your customer, if your team member, or if your congregation doesn't feel that they win, there will be no team members and no customers to do business with. Yes. You got to turn it on.
Actually, when we even see Sankirtan or physics like resonance effect, or even mathematics formulas, like if Prabhuji is A and I am B, and if we work together as A plus B square, then mathematically it says we get A square, which is excellence of Prabhu, B square, whatever I am doing, and then we get an outcome of 2AB, which is extra. And then if Prabhu and I are competitive, then we will have A minus B square, where A square of Prabhu's excellence plus B square of my excellence, but we will do each other big harm by having a minus 2AB pulling each of us down.
You guys got that? Yeah. And for me, it's all Chinese, but I'm happy seeing you guys happy.
And it expands when you have A plus B plus C square. Now this Prabhu joins our team, and if we are cruel to one another, the minus plays a very detrimental.
Why do people leave big corporations? Like they sign up with these big companies, and you have worked for some of them and built teams for, I ask you.
Mhm. Typically, people are leaving leaders and managers.
They can't stand that guy.
Yeah. Everybody wants to do good in their heart, but when the environment gets unproductive, toxic, they feel I can do better outside. So the biggest point when someone leaves a inside circle is when they are not taken care of, or they believe that I am not able to contribute than what I could
I cannot shine here. I need to go somewhere else because somebody's standing in the sun. Have we seen this in ISKCON? Have we seen this in ISKCON? Okay, what can we do to make people shine? We have to have servant leadership. We have to have servant leadership. You can write that down. Be a servant leader. You're not the boss. You're not the Don. You're not the dictator. You're the servant leader. And in this way, everybody will be happy to be around you because there's nothing more exciting than to have a servant leader who wants you to succeed, who wants you to flourish. My Gurudev told me, rather be in a place where there is no resources, but somebody wants you to succeed, than to be in a place where there's all the resources and everybody wants you to fail. And you know how that feels like, right? So, thank you, Damodar. I know these are deep topics, we can talk a lot about them, but we're just giving you a gist of it, and we have more time to discuss. Have you heard of MS-DOS? What is MS-DOS? Oh yeah? You guys are good. You guys know your stuff, huh? Okay. Okay, this is your mantra, MS-DOS, okay? If you want to do more seva, delegate, outsource, and simplify. You have realized through this course and through all the homework that you've gotten and all the ideas that you've written down that you got way more to do than you thought. Is that correct? It's a big job. It's a big job. So, how do you do it? Even though you have already done, you have recruited, and you've recruited your team. We haven't finished on this one. Where do you go recruit your team from? Yeah. Everywhere, right? Should you go top down or bottom up or all around? Where you should? All around, yes. But if you want to do big things, you need leaders. So you have to go to universities and find intelligent people. How do you train your team? You send them to MBA or how do you train your team? Haribo, how do you train your team?
We do have a classroom program, but along with that, we give them a dynamic experience, gradually increasing their responsibility.
You build people up.
Yes.
You build people up. And from the beginning, from the first day, all the way to the top, there are different stages, different steps, different modules. That's why people like Pune, because it's an educative place, right? It builds people up. So if you offer that kind of step-by-step approach, a lot of people will feel comfortable and confident, and yes, I can do this. Other people have gone there, they have succeeded. Haryashvas, Shavalashvas, remember the example? Your older brothers, they already did it. You can also do it. Come on, let's go. So you train the team. Then how do you monitor and empower? By just having attendance sheets? By just having people memorize stuff? Do you know that memorization is the lowest level of learning? Do you know that as educators? You can train parrots. You can train parrots. You can train anybody who even doesn't understand the language to just repeat what you said. They brought the Gurukul boys and they were telling shlokas. And Prabhupada said, do they know what it means? And they said, no. He said, it's useless. It's useless. If you don't know what you're repeating, there's no transformation. Information without application does not give realization. And without realization, there is no transformation. Okay? So, when you monitor and empower, don't just have your little check boxes and your little gimmicks and your little apps and things. You have to actually sit down together with your people and see, are we making progress? Are we actually going somewhere? Systems is one thing. Data is good, but it's not everything. Because even though the data may be good, good people may leave because the culture, the environment, the interaction is not there. People are willing to join startups. You know what startups are? High risk, a lot of work, very uncertain of how it's going to pan out. Why people do that? Because they're excited by the opportunity. They're excited by the opportunity. And they're willing to put a couple of years into something, even though they don't know if it's going to pan out. If they see ISKCON as an opportunity, they will want to be part. And then empowerment. Empowerment means, just like in San Francisco, I brought a guy in, he was in New Zealand, mechanical engineer from Auckland Uni, German-speaking guy. He's like an IIT level guy. He can take an airplane engine apart and build it back together. That level of guy. I went through New Zealand 4 or 5 times. I saw him. I saw he wasn't happy. He looked for something else. And he considered me his shiksha, so he asked me, what should I do? I couldn't tell him, just leave the country and go somewhere else, because that's not what we do in ISKCON. We don't just move people around and send them somewhere. But I said, I think for you it'd be good to do the 2-year, Vidyapit in Eco Village and just study all the books. So that's what he did. He went there, he studied all the books. After that, he asked me, what should I do now? I said, well, now you got to find a guru, whoever inspires you. Because whatever was going on there was not inspiring. So then he found somebody, took initiation. Then after that, he asked, where should I go now? I said, well, there's different options. Here are your options. Now you make an informed choice. He said, I want to come where you are. I said, me? I'm walking the streets in San Francisco. You want to do that? Okay, be my guest. We'll walk the streets together and distribute books. So he came. He flew there on his own money. If you only have people who ask you, what's the package? You heard that saying? What's the package? What do I get out of this? You say, wrong questioning. Wrong questioning. What's the opportunity? We're giving you an opportunity. So he flew there with his own money, and then he tried it out, and he liked it, and he stayed. Now he got his green card, and now he's running the place. Why? Because I recognized talent. And I encouraged him, I trained him, walking with him the whole path, and then empowering him. What is my job? A little bit of vision, a little bit of damage control, and 95% not to interfere. Just let people do their job. They'll do better than you and I could ever do. So that's getting back to this, just because we didn't finish it, okay? So how do you monitor? It's not a mechanical thing. Some people will check in weekly, some monthly, some quarterly, but you have to be in touch. Like the turtle with the eggs. like the fish, huh? You have to be in touch. It's not physical proximity. You have to be in touch with your team. Okay, so you delegate. You delegate to whom? To whom do you delegate? Right person, yes. You don't just hand somebody the keys and say, okay, I'm going off to Vrindavan now. Haribo. And then you come back and your center is gone. Yeah, has it happened? Yes, it has happened. Places with 5 lakhs in debt, you know, chaos. Whose fault is it? Well, yeah, the one who did not recognize. Then, but why should you delegate? I mean, you're capable people. Why wouldn't you want to do it all yourself? Haribo, why would you not want to do it all yourself? Why would you want to delegate? I mean, you're capable, you're smart, you know all this stuff, you can do it, right? So why would you want to delegate? So you can handle more responsibility, but this guy may get your job and he may get you out. Yes. But if you have the servant leader attitude, your job is to make yourself obsolete. You can write that down. Not redundant. No, I got it. Thank you. It's for you. Not redundant, just obsolete. Which means you don't stop acting, you keep doing. But you just go to higher responsibility, okay? But if somebody comes and he does what you do, you should be happy about that. Because that will free you up to do bigger and greater things, right? But this whole territorialism of no one can do what I do will cause constipation. Have you ever had constipation? What does the Ayurvedic doctor ask you? How is your, how is it passing, right? Right now, ISKCON is constipated. Because we have a lot of people who are sitting on the chair and they don't want to let go. And it's painful. It's painful to see. It's painful to see. Don't have that scenario in your center. There has to be upward mobility. Intelligent people want to see how can I, what's my trajectory? They need something like career counselors. You as the leader, be their career counselor. You tell them, okay, this is how it works. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, yes.
Like this, what this leadership is all about is understood by the top leaders of this ISKCON also. But at times it appears that even they support like the zonal system, or even sometimes not leaving, even like they are the only obstacle this to flow down. It appears like that.
Yes.
So why it is happening? Because what I can understand.
Because it's human nature, it's human conditioning. We have our constitutional nature and then we have our conditional nature. And depending on our consciousness, sometimes we may revert back to some of our original patterns. It's human nature. Bhaya, fear. The strongest of all the four. Ahar, Nidra, Bhaya, Maitun. Bhaya is the greatest. My territory. My thing. I want to protect my thing. Even in the name of a good thing. And then we don't realize. How hard was it for you guys to join the Brahmacharya ashram? I had to break my mother's heart in order to make her proud. You'll have to do the same thing with your leader. At some point. To make them proud, you have to show them that there's something different that can be done. You can do it in a nice way, you can do it in a Vaishnav way, but it has to be done. There has to be a healthy tension between tradition and innovation. Otherwise, things become obsolete and redundant. We'll talk more about this. So, yes, I can't hear you.
Can we record this statement and publish to our and for our leaders?
Pardon me? Can you speak
I
directly?
need to say that can we record this statement and publish for our leaders?
This conversation never happened, you know? Like,
Hare Krishna Babaji. So this delegation means it's a outrightly delegation without control, or it's a controlled delegation? It's a controlled delegation.
No, it's not like, hey, catch and I'm gone. No, not like that.
It should be a controlled delegation.
It's the right person, the right time. I make sure he's adequate. I help him. I set him up. I monitor him. That's delegation. Like the delegates, they're not just any random people. They're the right people. They're trained. They know how to represent. But you want to build your project. So you need to have people who are also capable, who are qualified. If you only have paid people, if you only have chamchas, if you only have chelas, you're never going to do anything of magnitude. You need to find people who are smarter than you, who are better than you. And you serve them by organizing the team and by putting them into play. Then something great can happen. That's how great corporations have evolved over time. Because there was somebody who had the vision. And he was humble enough to take himself back and to have other people shine. Just like Prabhupada. That's what he did. Prabhupada started the GBC and he had the GBC manage and he was just observing. Very rarely did he veto. Very rarely. On 2 or 3 occasions, they made a mistake. One time he disbanded the GBC. He said, I overrule. These guys are no good. And he just put it out. But that was only emergency. Otherwise, he went with the majority decision. Huh? Okay? Yes.
Prabhuji, you spoke about the human error part.
Yes.
Or Maya can affect us.
Yes.
So in future, we are getting training now. In future, it may happen to us also.
Absolutely.
That we can hold the position.
Absolutely.
So it can't be there a system like we have a government offices, 58-year age retirement. So can't we have a system for like all these people, all of us, not for the who are there?
Absolutely. That's the goal. But we're not there yet because we're only a very young organization. We're very young. So we're working on this, and with your help, we'll hopefully get there in this generation. Hopefully. No promises, but that's my desire. That's my aspiration. That's what we're working towards. So that our juniors will not look at us and tell us, you were a bunch of idiots. You knew what was wrong, and you did nothing about it. That feels bad. That hurts. And it's good that it feels bad, because it should bring us to the point, pain is there. Why is disease there? To show you there's a problem that needs addressing. There's something that needs to change. Why are they holding on? Different reasons. They think no one can do what I do. They think they're just going to ruin it. They think, what will I do if I'm not going to do this? Is there something for me? Is there a life after management? Sir, is there a life after management? Did you have a life before management? Was it a good life? Okay, so that concludes there is a life after management also. Is it a good life? Yes, absolutely. But we have to be convinced of that. And unfortunately, we have not assured our elders that they're taken care of, that they're secure, and that we're still gonna respect them and take care of them, even if they're not managers. Because right now, everyone's so fixated in having their position, their power, their keys, their money, and they don't realize managers are not the people who run the show. It's the Brahmins, it's the visionaries, it's the guides. Those are supposed to be the leaders of society, right? So we got it wrong. We got a little confused here along the way. Or the Baniyas run the show, those who have the money. Huh? Or vox populi, just, whoever has more votes, they're the ones who win. That's not our system. Huh? So we don't have to get confused. So yes, we're working there. That's where we're heading. But don't hold your breath, It may take a little longer than a couple of SGGS and ILS and, this college and that college. It takes time. It takes time. But we're 50 years in. Something is happening. Yes?
Just bringing this to you because you said you are from early 80s. So there was a phase like Srila Prabhupada era when this did not really make much sense to the moment what we are learning now. Like Prabhupada had another vision and now we are getting trained with another vision. And then there is a huge gap between that. So again, talking on systems, or maybe there should be a reinforcement system that it doesn't come again after, let's say, 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years once we are no more or we are faded, with a hope that what we all are learning now, we are really going to implement it. It's like going against the current, honestly speaking.
Yeah.
So is something going on that level as well?
A culture is preserved not through legislation, but through role models. A culture, you can write that down, a culture is preserved not through laws or legislation, but through role models. That means grandmothers, that means housewives, that means teachers, that means healthy interaction. That's what preserves a culture. That people will say, hey, whoa, this is not cool. This doesn't work here. You can't do this here. Huh? It's not, it's written somewhere in a GBC law book or somewhere in the court, they will decide. No, the people just will not agree to certain type of behavior. That is healthy social pressure, which has to be fostered. It has to be cultivated. And that's what we're working on. Sometimes people ask me, Navina, what are you doing? What's your job? Because I'm kind of, I've done the minister thing for 10 years. I've been in a few places, done a few things. So they ask me, what is your job? What do you do? What's your service? I say, I'm a translator. I translate from English to English. They ask, how does that work? I say, I translate from old school to new school. Because I came in the early 80s. I lived the old school. I still know how people talk and think and all that. But I'm young at heart, and I resonate with the kids who are coming in the door today because I'm on the street. I'm dealing with them every day. So I can translate because they speak English, but they don't speak the same language. Have you noticed sometimes? Generation gap, those 35 years? And people are not understanding each other. They feel like it's not commuting. Huh? Another heavy one, if we don't succeed in making our second generation, our children, feel that this is their movement, we have failed. You know failed? The thing with a big F? You ever gotten a paper with an F on it? Huh? No? No, you were lucky, huh? Failed. Not a good thing. We have failed if we don't succeed in making our next generation feel that they own this, that this is their movement. I'm on the colleges every day in the US. We have in the Bay Area 5 lakh Deshis, 500,000 Indians. And they're going all to all these great schools like Stanford and Berkeley, etc. And I walk up to them, and you know what they tell me? My parents are Indian. My parents are Indian. You know what that means? I'm an American. My parents are Indian. You get it? We don't want our kids to tell people, my parents are Hare Krishnas. What they don't tell them is, I'm just a regular idiot, I'm like everybody else. So, how do we bridge that gap? Satam prasangam amavirya samvido bhavantirit karanasayana kata tachoshana dasha pavargavartmani shraddha ratir bhaktir anukramishati. You have to actually get together and do that sankirtan, that tushyanti charamanticha. That they feel like, hey, this is great, this is wonderful, I love this, good taste, it's really valuable, I want this. That's the buy-in. People need pratyaksha. Susukam kartumavyayam. It's not enough to just give people a membership card and say, yes, yes, I am member of Rotary Club, I'm member of Lions Club, and I'm member of ISKCON, and I'm member of, Sai Baba. Have you met people like that? Yeah, you can have a few million of those too, but, who cares? It's not going to change the face of the world. You want people who are willing, shraddha, to give their heart, to be all in. We've gone 5 minutes over time, got a little excited. It can happen. So be back here at 12:15. We have a lot more ground to cover. And this evening we go on Harinam and book distribution. Those 4 who are going to leave at 2 o'clock, I want you to pick up your tests so you can start doing your tests now. There's 4 people leaving on trains. You know who you are. So you please come and pick up your tests, and I'll explain to you how it works. And then you can just get started after Gayatri. Okay? So see you in 10 minutes. No, we'll do that at the end, not right now. See you back at